Action.
Action. All right, so this is to be the goal lab, and this is going to be the observation and experimentation lab. In this lab, we're going to be using 4 variables. Our variables are calcium chloride, sodium bicarbonate, which is just baking soda, phenol red, an indicator, and water, and then just plain water. So these are our variables. We're going to play around and see what happens with them. One part you do have to make observations, so I might as well go ahead and show you what it looks like. This is calcium chloride. Calcium chloride is actually used to help as a de-icer on the roads. So it's a little chunky, but white, kind of flaky. Got a good view of that one? Awesome. The awesomeness, right? And then sodium bicarbonate. Looks like your typical white powder, almost like sugar. I'm not going to go to other white powders. Okay. Of course, most of the powders we deal with in chemistry are white, so just remember that. Phenol red is obviously, well, you know, red. Okay. Liquidy, clear, and water is, yeah, that's right, water. Okay, so those are your observations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them into a Ziploc baggie. I'm going to be very careful about how I place them in here, because I don't want them to mix until I get the whole bag sealed. So I'm going to start with my calcium chloride and get some nice big scoops of that going on. Let's see how talented I can be. Get over there. 2 scoops of raisins and Kellogg's Raisin Bran, 2 scoops. Okay, well anyways, that's my calcium chloride. Sodium bicarbonate is going to go into the other corner. Just 1 scoop of this one. There's a ratio we're looking for, and this ratio is only calling for 1 scoop. And then we're going to add the phenol red in there. Okay, I'm going to put it right here on the top. There we go. So now I'm going to seal this bag, make sure all the air is out of it, move my variables out of the way, make it a little bit easier for me to work. So make sure all the air is out. Air, get out. And then I'm going to seal the bag. See, nothing has mixed so far. Yay me. Okay, now I get to mix it up. So while I'm ooh, that's warm. While I'm mixing this up, you can obviously see some chemical changes in there. I had a nice hot pink there for a minute, but then, as you can see, it kind of went to a yellowish, and it's foamy. Okay, so when we all mix together, oh, but right here is cold. Wow, that's hot and this is cold. You want to feel that? Ooh. I just had to get, you know, that's cold here and it's hot there. That's kind of cool. Ah, wow, that's really weird. Funny. So anyways, that's the first reaction. Get hot, get hot. For the observation experimentation lab. Now, what you have to do is you have to come up, after writing down all your observations from what you saw, some questions as to what happened here, because you got to investigate those in part 2. Okay? Rolling. Okay, so part 2 of the experiment is to actually conduct little mini experiments, trying to figure out what is responsible, or which variables are responsible for what we saw in part 1, which we had that nice foamy yellow substance with some pink and hot and cold spots. So we have to do this variable, or a couple of variables at a time, because we want to really make sure we know what's causing what part. So for example, for our first little mini experiment, I'm going to test calcium chloride with water. Okay, now you may say, but hey, Mrs. Otry, we didn't use water in that first part of the experiment. Well, we did. There is water in the phenol red. Okay, so we mix up that dye for the phenol red with water, so that's why we get that fourth variable of just water. So we're going to see what just plain water has to do with calcium chloride. So again, I don't need to use as much as I did before. Remember, I'm just doing little mini experiments here. And I have a feeling that this might be where my heat is coming from. So I'm going to do this in a baggie because I want to be able to feel this one. And I got the calcium chloride in. And now I'm going to squirt some water. Okay. Seal it up. And mix it up. Yeah, if you can see there's no color change, so that's good to know. If we mix calcium chloride and water, there's no color change. But as I feel it, it is hot. Go ahead. There, yeah, that's hot, okay?
Camera woman confirms. There is heat.
It is official. So there is heat when we mix the calcium chloride and the water. So that's one little mini experiment. Maybe we should try and see what happens when we take calcium chloride with the phenol red. Okay, so there's another mini experiment we're going to do. Now, I already know it's going to cause heat because I'm smart like that, since there's water in phenol red. So what I'm going to do this time, I'm not going to use a baggie because I got to conserve my baggies. I'm running out. I'm going to put some calcium chloride here in a watch glass. And then I'm going to observe what happens when I put the phenol red on there. Now, just like we kind of were doing before, maybe preface this by saying, after you do a mini experiment, you need to write down those observations. So that for that first observation, you would put down that dissolved, there's no color change, but heat. There is heat involved. So now we're looking at the second one, which is the calcium chloride and the phenol red. We know there's going to be heat because there's water in there. Ooh. Okay, so this is the calcium chloride with the phenol red. No bubbles, but looks like we're having a little bit of a color change. Let me get one of my stirring sticks. Let's see. Do you see a little bit of that color change, camera woman? That pink has kind of gone away, and what do we kind of have?
It's turning orange.
It's turning orangish. If I put it,
there you go.
That's probably easier to see. How it's kind of turning orangish now, okay? Definitely that reddish color, the pinkish color is gone, and it's dissolving. Okay. And I'm sure, I'm wondering, I really can't feel the heat that much underneath it, but I know there's heat being involved. Okay, so that's another little mini experiment there. So now I'm going to move on. I'm going to try sodium bicarbonate or baking soda with water, and I want to see what happens with that one. Okay, so I am going to use a baggie for that because remember I felt cold, and I want to see if I'm going to feel that cold feeling if I mix these two together. Okay, so again I'm going to put a nice scoop of that in there, and I'm going to squirt us some water. This water has a funny, okay. All right, now I'm going to mix it together. Oh yeah, right here, that definitely is the water and that sodium bicarbonate mix. It's cold. Camera woman, confirm.
It's a affirmative on that confirmation.
So I have found what makes that cold feeling now. So I've taken care of the heat, and I've taken care of the cold spot, and I've even seen how it turns to orange, right? Remember we had a yellowish, if you remember our original baggie here, we have that yellowish color that we still haven't really seen, okay? Because this is the other one, this is just the calcium chloride in the water. So hopefully I'm going to be able to, we can redo this one too. So, next thing I'm going to try is I'm going to try baking soda, the sodium bicarbonate, and phenol red. And again, I'm going to do that on a watch glass since I know where that temperature is coming from. Keeping my scupola straight. There we go. There is our sodium bicarbonate and, sorry, phenol red. I almost messed up. All right, and there's a nice little swirl of that. Get myself a new stirring stick. Okay, so we're looking to see if we have any color change here. And I'm going to say no. No color change. It's just that pretty pink. It's a little more pink, I would say, than the original phenol red itself, right? So it's that hot pink we kind of saw. So it does go a hot pink, maybe? Yeah, I'll go with that. Hot pink, that's different, right? Yes, it is. It's different. Okay, so it's different, but not the yellow. All right, so what I gotta do next is, let's see, how about, well, I'm gonna do an experiment that you would say, well, I would even test that. I'm gonna mix together so the calcium chloride with the sodium bicarbonate, and you're probably saying, well, Mrs. Otry, those are two solids. Nothing's going to happen. Well, that's what we think, and sometimes we have to just test it to make sure that nothing happens. We don't want to assume nothing happens, because assuming something is very bad, okay? My dad always told me that, okay? So we want to make sure that our assumption that nothing happens is true. Make sure that ratio is right. Put that in there. Calcium chloride went in first. Sodium bicarbonate is going in next. 1 scoop. Okay. Getting air out. Sealing it up. Covering up my chemicals so nothing else gets in it. All right, and the mix. I'm gonna move my fingers around and nothing, okay? But now I have confirmation that nothing happens. Remember, we don't want to just assume nothing happens. Now we know, nothing happens. No heat, no cold, no nothing, okay? No anything, I guess it's proper English, okay? So that's what you write down for that one. All right, since I have those two in the baggie, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna test calcium chloride, sodium bicarbonate, and just water, okay? So I'm gonna open that sucker back up again, take some water. I'll do some squirts here first. Get some good water here. Make sure that it, a little more for fun, right? It's almost like cooking, right? Yeah, I think your ratios in a way. Okay, air is out, and water goes down. Now let's see. Oh, okay. Oh, can you hear that? Do you see that? Even the bag is inflating with gas. Ooh, that's awesome. Okay, and wow, so now we know what made it do that in the original bag where our gas was and how, you know, it's the combination of all three of those together. So now I'm only missing one thing, and that's that yellow color, right? We've seen the orange color, we've seen the hot pink, we've got the hot feeling, the cold feeling, and now we have that gas, the bubbles and the fizzing and the the inflating of the bag. We got that gas, so I'm only missing one thing. Okay, keep that baggie there while it sizzles on. All right, since I'm looking for that color, what I'm gonna do, and obviously there's only one variable I really haven't, I go back to kind of my original experiment again, which is I'm looking at the calcium chloride the sodium bicarbonate, and since we know just plain water doesn't cause any color change, we're going to use that phenyl red again, and now I'm going to see maybe the combination of these two with the phenyl red is going to cause that yellow color. So let's look at that. Okay, so we put some calcium chloride on the plate, not watch glass. I better get a white card to go underneath it. Some sodium carbonate. Sprinkle that on. Excellent. All right, I'm gonna get myself a wooden stir prepared. And here we go. Squirt some of that phenyl red on and let's see what happens. Okay, so you're getting that? All right, now look at that. The combination of those two, the calcium chloride and the sodium bicarbonate with the phenyl red gives us that yellowish color. Okay? Very nice. Nice foamy gas. Very nice. Okay? And that's it from part 2. Make sure you write your observations in, and then you're good to answer the questions in the post lab. Okay? Thanks for coming.